Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. I'm your host Harpreet Singh from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. In today's program, we're going to go over to Dehradun, and my guest is Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta, who's a neuropsychologist. And a topic is very interesting today. We'll be talking about how to find positivity in negative situations. So she'll take us on this process as to how we have to rewire our brain so that we can remain positive, and even in negative circumstances, we are able to stay positive. So let's welcome Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta. Dr. Sona, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Harpreet ji. Thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure, like always.
Thank you. So today I would like to know a little bit about the brain's functioning. As a neuropsychologist, why is it that we get inspired for some time when we get something motivating we see or we read, and we feel as if we're going to conquer the world, but after some time our brain again takes us back to the real world where negativity starts having a force on us and we forget all those positive things. So let's talk a little bit about the functioning of the brain and also how to remain positive in negative circumstances, our topic. So take us on this journey, and the mic is over to you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, it's a very, very important topic, and it's a very interesting topic also, because there is a lot of negativity around, and our aim and mission should be positive in this negative world today, especially today. Brain is actually hardware. Like I'm not going to go into the very technical details because that will be very confusing. Just let me make it easy and make it simple. Brain is a hardware. It's like a computer. And inside that computer, you have the software. So the software of the brain is our mind, which functions on our feelings and our thoughts and our emotions. So the hardware is the brain, which you see, those hemispheres and the cerebellum and the spinal cord. That is the hardware, and inside it harbors the mind, which harbors all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So actually what happens is, an amygdala is one special part of the brain which actually deals with a lot of emotional turmoil in our brain. And of course, I also want to tell you that physiology is a very important part of it, and we'll take that up on some next time because it's too much in detail. Because everything in the brain is being, managed by the neurotransmitters and the hormones which are released. Basically speaking, by the good hormones and the bad hormones. So a lot of serotonin is supposed to be a good hormone, and there's dopamine, and there are those stress-causing hormones which are the cortisol and the ACTH hormones and the adrenaline and the noradrenaline, the fight and the flight hormone. Like whenever we are faced with some situation which is so striking to us that we immediately go into a fight or a flight mode. So that is the release of adrenaline from the brain, and that adrenaline rush in our body motivates us and inspires us to either face the situation or to run away from it. So all this, there is a lot of hormonal things going on inside our brain and our neurotransmitters, and our thoughts, maintain this balance. That is what we presume, that the thoughts maintain this balance, and stress, disbalances the whole thing. So during stress, we have this cortisol and ACTH rise, and less of, and in depression and all, we have less of dopamine and serotonin. So having said that, let me go into the software, the mind, which harbors the thoughts, beliefs, and the emotions and the feelings. That is the inner world, our inner world. So I want to tell you that the functioning of the psychological aspect of this is that we have our emotional diet, and our emotional diet is the information we feed in, information we are getting from our various sources, from our friends, from our relatives, from the media, also from our belief systems. Our belief systems are a big source of our thoughts, and the belief systems which we have grown up in while we were growing up as children. So those belief systems and the information we feed in, and all these things mix together and give rise to our thoughts. And those thoughts which are generated tend to be about 25 to 30 thoughts per minute, and thousands of them in a day. So those thoughts are the actual resource in our brain, so much of them. And during stress and anxiety, these thoughts are doubled and tripled. So
Right.
you can imagine that is the building up of the pressure in the brain, and you get those headaches and migraines. These thoughts then give rise to our feelings, and we feel sad and bad, or depressed, or angry, or anxious. So the feelings are our thermometer. I mean, we come to know we are feeling bad and sad, but we cannot see our thoughts. But the psychology is all based, cognitive behavior therapy, which I deal with, is all based on working on our thought levels. So the moment you feel bad, we tell people to stop, have a look at the thought which is going on in the brain, and we try to teach them how to check or change those thoughts to
Right.
positive ones. And of course, feelings then give rise to our behavior and our actions, and becomes our personality. So
Wow.
that is the whole story of it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks for laying the foundation for our talk today because that's very important what you talked about. It's generally said thoughts become things. And as you said, the emotional diet, what we have, and the belief systems that we carry on, they are the ones which take us further. It's time for a short break. We'll go for a break. We'll be back and we'll continue our discussion from here as to now, as the foundation has been laid, how to raise the walls so that we remain positive even during negative circumstances, and how not to let the circumstances control you, but rather our mind becomes stronger and we are able to control the circumstances. So, Dr. Sona will be shortly back. Please keep on watching the Harpreet Singh Show, and we'll be back with Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta from
Sure.
Dehradun.
ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਾਰ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੋੜ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਪੇਸ ਮੋਡੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਫਿਊਲ ਐਫੀਸ਼ੀਐਂਸੀ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਟੌਰ।
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ, ਡੈਲਟਾ, ਰਿਚਮੰਡ, ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਜਰਬੇਕਾਰ ਬਿਲਡਰ, ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਾਰ ਸਕਣ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਸੰਦੀਪ 6048259295 ਉੱਤੇ।
ਵੈਨਕਾਸਾ ਟਾਈਲ ਅਤੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਸਟੋਨ, ਮਾਰਬਲ, ਬੈਕਸਪਲੈਸ਼, ਮੋਜ਼ੇਕ ਆਦਿ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ, ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼, ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼, ਪੋਰਸਲਨ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਰੈਮਿਕ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਰਬਲ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਆਰਡਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਲੀਅਰੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਮਾਲਕ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਇੰਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ 130428 ਐਵਨਿਊ ਸਰੀ। ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 330 7363 604 330 7363। Once again, welcome back to the program. Our guest today is Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta from Dehradun, who is a neuropsychologist, and we are talking about how to remain positive in negative circumstances. Before we get her on air, I would like to inform about our sponsors who have helped us in bringing this program to you. ਸਰੀ ਕਲੋਵਰਡੇਲ ਤੇ ਫਰੇਜ਼ਰ ਵੈਲੀ ਦੇ ਟਾਪ ਰੀਅਲਟਰ ਹਨ ਜੈਸ ਓਬਰਾਏ, ਜੋ ਰੀਮੈਕਸ ਬਲੂਪ੍ਰਿੰਟ ਰੀਅਲਟ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਨ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੰਟੈਗ੍ਰਿਟੀ, ਕਮਿਟਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟਸ ਕਾਰਨ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਘਰ ਜਾਂ ਕਮਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਖਰੀਦਣੀ ਜਾਂ ਵੇਚਣੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੌਖਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਕਲਾਇੰਟ ਮਹੱਤਤਾ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਲਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਾਲ 24 ਘੰਟਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਪਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੁਟਾਉਂਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ $500 ਨਗਦ ਦੇਣਗੇ। ਆਪਣੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਮੁਫਤ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਵੈਲਿਊਏਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਸਲਾਹ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 7789947450 778 994 7450 ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਈਮੇਲ ਕਰੋ joe@jaisobrai.ca। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਹੈ jaisobrai.ca। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਨਵੀਂ ਤੇ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਦਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਐਕਮੀ ਗਲਾਸ ਲਿਮਿਟਡ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹ ਫਰੇਮਲੈਸ ਗਲਾਸ ਰੇਲਿੰਗਸ, ਕਸਟਮ ਵੁੱਡ ਕਲੋਜ਼ਟਸ, ਸ਼ਾਵਰ ਤੇ ਟਬ ਡੋਰਸ, ਸ਼ਾਵਰ ਸਲਾਈਡਰਸ, ਬੇਵਲਡ ਵੁੱਡ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਟਲ ਟ੍ਰਿਮ ਮਿਰਰਸ ਤੇ ਕਸਟਮ ਗਲਾਸ ਵਰਕ ਦੀ ਮਹਾਰਤ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਨ। ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ, ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ, ਕਰਾਫਟਸਮੈਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਤੇ ਹਾਈ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਲਈ ਇਹ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਨ। ਆਪਣੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਜਾਂ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਘਰ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 6045438777 604 543 8777। ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਲਵਾਈਆਂ ਜਾਣ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਦੌੜ ਖਤਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਮਨ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਕੋਲ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਕੇ। ਗ੍ਰੇਨਾਈਟ, ਮਾਰਬਲ, ਪੋਰਸਲਨ, ਸਿਰੈਮਿਕ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਕਿਚਨ, ਬਾਥ, ਸ਼ਲੂਟਰ ਦੇ ਕਸਟਮ ਸ਼ਾਵਰ ਬੇਸ, ਫਾਇਰਪਲੇਸਿਸ, ਡੈਕਸ ਤੇ ਦੀਵਾਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਮਹਾਰਤ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਨ। ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਅਮਨ ਨੂੰ 7783163510 778 316 3510 हर बजट ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਮੁੜ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਜੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸੋਨਾ ਕੌਸ਼ਲ ਗੁਪਤਾ ਕੋਲ ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਦਾ ਸਿਲਸਿਲਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੋਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So Dr. Gupta, before the break you were talking about the emotional diet. So again, let us know as to how we can rewire our brain that negative circumstances don't have an impact on us, and we can remain happy, or we can remain strong during those circumstances also.
Yeah, sure. But first, I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank Canada for having me here with you all. And it's a pleasure being with you all. So, you want me to tell you how we can rewire our brain and to be positive. As I told you, that you have these good hormones in the brain which trigger to your happiness, your oxytocin, endorphins, your serotonin, your dopamine, good hormones, you know.
Yeah.
And so the aim is to have good neurotransmitters and hormones in the brain and body so that we remain happy and we remain positive. And it's vice versa also. Some research says that being positive releases these hormones, and some research says that these hormones make us positive. So both ways, it's a win-win solution. It's a win-win issue for us.
Right.
Now, Harpreet ji, I would like to tell you that brain is such a thing that it is, you know, it is made in such a way that it loves, it's a sponge for negativity, that it loves to soak in negativity, and it loves to be negative. If by chance you are late, or if your child is late, the first thought which comes to our mind is कि कुछ हो तो नहीं गया, कि accident तो नहीं हो गया.
Right.
So that way it you know, is a sponge for negativity. And as it is vibrations around us today, because of various scenarios, because of corona, because of these mortality and morbidity, because of this disease, and because of various other stressors around us, it's a very negative environment around us. So in this situation, our aim is to be positive and to remain positive, which means to be happy and stress free. It's like, you know, it's like dark room, and in that dark room you see a ray of light coming in. So instead of focusing on the dark room, you try to focus on that ray of light, and you know, train your mind to tell yourself that gradually this light is going to spread into the whole room, and the darkness is going to vanish off. This is the meaning of being positive. We focus on the tiniest bit of positivity which we see around us, instead of the gross negativity which we see around us. So as I told you, it all depends on our thoughts, the way we are thinking. Because as I told you, our thinking creates our feelings. So what is the meaning of being positive? What should you do to have a happy mindset, to think positive? There are two aspects of it. Cognitive behavior therapy trains you to change your negative thoughts to positive. I'll come to that in my next print. To be positive, first of all, you have to have those happy hormones in your brain. So you have to eat well, a balanced diet. You have to sleep well, which releases a lot of good hormones during your sleep in the night. Then you have to be stress-free. You have to exercise at least half an hour to 1 hour's exercise, which releases a lot of endorphins in the brain, which are good hormones again. And other than that, it's very important that you keep the company of people around you, a good support system of people who are happy and who are positive. Right. Because negative friends and negative people around you, you know, showers a lot of negativity into your mind. So you should have good support system of positive friends around you. Other than that, you should, you know, as I told you, you should train your mind to look at the positive aspect of every situation. A glass is half full instead of it is half empty. Right. Like, you should tell yourself that every situation, you can call it a situation, you can call it a problem, you can call it a challenge. Every situation has come to teach me something. So even if it is something very bad, still, if you don't focus on the situation, but you focus on the lesson which that has taught you, that is being positive. For instance, I had this patient, and and he had had an accident, and he had broken his leg. So when I told him, and he was very depressed. So other than the physical deformity which he had, he was depressed, and he came to me for depression because he was always cursing himself for breaking his leg. So when I told him to focus on the positive, he said, "How can I focus on the positive? I've broken a leg. What is positive? What is the lesson I've learned in this?" So the lesson he's learned in this is that the way he drove his motorcycle, he should have driven it better, or he should be grateful to God that at least it's just one leg, the other one is okay. So if you look at the positive aspect and the lesson that the situation teaches you, that makes you feel happier, stress-free. Another
Absolutely.
thing to be positive. Another thing to be positive, Harpreet. Yeah.
Dr. Sona, time for a break. We'll go for a break and we'll continue from here and we'll learn more from you. So basically what you're trying to say is that
Yeah.
try to find positivity in every situation, whatever the circumstances are. You have to train your brain to find the positivity even in small things or even if there's a disaster so that your mind can continue focusing on that and you become more positive. So let's go for a break. We'll continue from here only and we'll learn more from you in the last segment about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, also how that can also help and what are other tips you would like to give to our viewers today. So we'll be shortly back.
ਭਾਰਤ ਪੈਸੇ ਭੇਜਣੇ ਹੋਣ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੰਗਵਾਣੇ ਹੋਣ ਤੇ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਫੋਰੈਕਸ ਨੂੰ ਤਸੱਲੀਬਖਸ਼ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਰੇਟ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਗਾਰੰਟੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 6043491313 ਉੱਤੇ।
ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਵੇਂ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਸਟੋਵ, ਅਵਨ, ਫ੍ਰਿਜ, ਵਾਸ਼ਰ ਡਰਾਇਰ, ਮਾਈਕ੍ਰੋਵੇਵ, ਫ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਰਸ ਜਾਂ ਡਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ਼ਰ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਮ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਤੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ 3 ਬ੍ਰਾਂਚੇਸ ਸਰੀ, ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਤੇ ਚਿਲਵੈਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਨ। ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ। ਇਹ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਤੇ ਇੰਸਟਾਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪੈਕੇजेस ਫॉर ਬਿਲਡਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਹੋਮ ਓਨਰਸ। ਕਾਲ 6045904140 604 590 4140।
Karen thought she won a gift card, but we had a much bigger surprise for her. We rise by lifting others. Basant Motors.
Once again, welcome back to the program. We are talking to Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta from Dehradun, who is a neuropsychologist, and the topic is very important as to how to remain positive even in negative circumstances. So before we get her back on air, I would like to inform about our sponsors. Today's program has been brought to you by Rika Singh, who's a registered dietitian, and she's the author of Empowered Mind Diet Equation. As Dr. Kaushal Gupta was also telling us before the break about that good diet is an important essential component of having a positive mindset. She has been in this field for the past 18 years and she says that if you are suffering from diabetes, heart diseases, food allergies, gastrointestinal disorders, mental health issues or overall sehat and wellness issues, you can contact her. She'll guide you as to what you should bring in your diet so that you remain healthy and you stay disease free. Call her at 778-240-5951, 778-240-5951 and her website is rikadietforwellness.com. Today's program has been brought to you by AMC Insurance. If you're looking for home, auto, travel, business, life or recreational insurance, you can depend upon them. They have 9 offices in Lower Mainland and they're open 7 days a week from 8:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. The phone number is 604-507-6666. For the right advice and product, remember AMC Insurance. This program has been brought to you with the support of Ahir Transportation Group Limited. They have been in the transportation and storage industry since 1993 and the motto is your cargo is our responsibility. So if you want to send your goods anywhere in Canada, you can depend upon them. Address is 8970 River Road, Delta, and phone number is 604-940-9511, 604-940-9511 and the website is ahir.com. Let's once again get back Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta and continue with the discussion. So Dr. Gupta, you have laid a very strong foundation as to look for positivity in every circumstance. But mind again has to be rewired. Again and again it has to be told. So what other tips would you suggest us?
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So you can call me Dr. Sona.
Yeah.
Okay, Harpreet ji. So what I was telling you is, as I told you, that of course focus on the positive aspect of the lesson you have learned. The other way to remain positive in spite of all the negativity around you is to be grateful. It's very important to make a journal, to be grateful for the things you have. So it's a very small technique that early morning when you get up, at least for 2 or 3 minutes, just connect to your Almighty God and get yourself charged by His powers and tell Him that no matter what happens, you are with me. Tell your God, whomever you pray to, and just tell Him that you're with me. So it'll be fine. With everything is going to be fine. And then, just be grateful for 5 or 6 things which you have every day, every morning. So you can focus on 6 things. You can focus on your electricity, on the food on your table, on your children, on your health, on your being able to look or see or hear or breathe. So, when you focus on things you have, your brain sort of shifts towards what you have instead of what you don't have.
Right.
Which is, as I told you, the brain is very negative. It loves to go into things which are negative. So that attitude of gratitude is very important.
Right.
Other than that, of course, the art of acceptance is very important to learn to be positive.
Right.
Because Harpreet ji, just before this talk, I was in a session with a client who was telling me that he has a lot of expectations from people, and he is very sad and depressed all the time. And so, of course, what happens is when we are expecting things from people, we feel कि मैंने तो इतना किया, उसने तो मेरे लिए कुछ किया ही नहीं. So when you are expecting things, automatically you are not accepting them. So instead of expecting things, start accepting people and situations as they are.
Right.
Acceptance, the ACCEPTANCE. Acceptance means that you're not trying to change anyone. You're not having expectations from anyone. You're just accepting them as they are, because as human beings, we don't have the power to change people or situations. So to be happy, to be positive, we can only accept them. And then, of course, after accepting them, our mind stays stress-free. Otherwise, it goes into conflict with them, that why did this happen? Why did he say it? Why this has happened? So if you're in
a Dr. Sona, I think there is some problem with the technical problem with your internet, so I'll try to get you back. We'll go for a short break and we'll be back and we'll continue with our discussion with Dr. Gupta. Please keep on watching the Harpreet Singh Show.
ਸ਼ਾਈਨ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਡੈਂਟਲ ਕਲੀਨਿਕ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਤਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਦੇਖ-ਰੇਖ ਹੇਠ ਆਧੁਨਿਕ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦੰਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਹੀ ਕੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੰਦਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਰਨਾ, ਕਰਾਊਨਸ, ਬ੍ਰਿਜਸ, ਡੈਂਟਲ ਇੰਪਲਾਂਟਸ, ਰੂਟ ਕਨਾਲ, ਡੈਂਚਰਸ, ਬੌਂਡਿੰਗ ਅਤੇ ਵਨੀਰਸ, ਐਕਸਟ੍ਰੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ, ਬੋਨ ਕ੍ਰੈਫਟਿੰਗ ਆਦਿ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹਨ। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਡੈਂਟਿਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਮਾਹਰ ਹਨ। ਇਹ ਇੰਸ਼ੋਰੈਂਸ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਲੀ ਬਿੱਲ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਘੱਟ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਚਾਰਜ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਫॉर ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਸ਼ਾਈਨ ਐਂਡ ਸਮਾਈਲ 604 503 0320 ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ। ਕਿੰਗ ਜਾਰਜ ਸੁਪਰ ਸਟੋਰ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ, ਯੂਨਿਟ 370, 7488 ਕਿੰਗ ਜਾਰਜ ਬੁਲੇਵਾਰਡ, ਸਰੀ। ਦਰਦ ਤੋਂ ਆਰਾਮ ਐਲੋਪੈਥਿਕ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਖਾਣ ਨਾਲ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਸਾਈਡ ਇਫੈਕਟਸ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਦਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਜੜੋਂ ਖਤਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਰਕਸ ਫਾਰਮੇਸੀ ਦੇ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਸ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਹਰ ਹਿੱਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਹਨ। ਅਪਾਇੰਟਮੈਂਟ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 596 1774 ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ 8035 120 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਡੈਲਟਾ। ਦਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਜੜੋਂ ਖਤਮ ਕਰੋ।
ਘਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਪਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਬਦਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਨਵੇਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰੇਮਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੱਕ, ਡ੍ਰੇਪਰੀ, ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ, ਅਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ SK ਹੋਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਹਕੀਕਤ 'ਚ ਬਦਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ 6048259295।
ਕੁਦਰਤ ਦੇ ਸੌਮਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਆਯੁਰਵੇਦਾ ਰਾਹੀਂ 5000 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਏ ਗਏ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਪਰੂਵਡ 100% ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਆਯੁਰਵੈਦਿਕ ਡਾਈਟਰੀ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਲਾਭ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਟ੍ਰੈਸ, ਐਂਗਜ਼ਾਇਟੀ, ਇਨਸੋਮਨੀਆ, ਬਲੱਡ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ, ਕਿਡਨੀ, ਬਲੈਡਰ, ਹਾਜ਼ਮਾ, ਆਈਸਾਈਟ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਇਲਾਜ, ਜੋੜਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਦਰਦਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਮਸਾਜ ਲਈ ਕਈ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਆਯੁਰਵੈਦਿਕ ਤੇਲ ਵੀ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹਨ। ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ 604 628 2003।
So, Dr. Gupta, are you able to hear me now? There seems to be some distraction still. We are not able to connect. So anyways, Today we are talking to Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta from Dehradun. She is a neuropsychologist, and our topic was as to how to remain happy in negative circumstances. She has given a very good view as to what needs to be done, and she has talked about two basic points. Your attitude needs to change. It should be always in a state of gratitude, because once we are in a state of gratitude, our mind focuses then on the positive things around us, not what we are lacking. And secondly, she was talking about acceptance, rather than expectations. So generally what happens is, in relationships or any other issue, we expect from people, but once that is not fulfilled, then we berate and we are fuming about that, why this has not happened. So she was talking about the second important aspect by which we can rewire our brain is to be always in a state of acceptance. So once again, I would like to try Dr. Gupta if she's back. In the meantime, every evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm on air with you, and thanks for supporting us in a big way. If you're liking these programs, we would like some more support from you by way of you subscribing to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Harpreet Singh Show, or on Facebook, the Harpreet Singh Show. Please spread this message, because the idea of this program is to inspire, educate, and empower. And that is why every evening from Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have different guests who talk about different issues by which we can be empowered. So I think we are not able to get Dr. Sona. Nevertheless, let me give a try once again. Dr. Sona, are you able to hear me? No. So basically, what we have been talking about is that we need to change our perspective towards life. See, life is so unpredictable. Everything was going fine while we were talking with Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta, but all of a sudden it just disconnected. So again, in life, these things happen. Either we just sit and berate about things and just complain, or rather, on the other hand, we just take it as life comes to us and start enjoying life. So once again, I think we will try once again the last time to get Sona Kaushal Gupta back. Otherwise, we would like to finish the program here only. It was a pleasure having all of you. And the other points what Dr. Gupta wanted to talk with us, we will continue with that in some other program. So once again, I'll just try to get Dr. Kaushal Gupta back. Otherwise, we will say goodbye. So Dr. Gupta, once again, welcome back. After some struggle, we are again back. So this is what is life, you don't know what the next step is going to be. So either I could have been just berating and fuming and complaining that why is this internet is not working well. But again, everything has its own reason. Anyways, so you were talking about acceptance, and you finished off that gratitude is the most important thing. Second thing you were talking about acceptance. What else should we know?
Should I continue?
Please. Yeah, go ahead. Ji.
Hello.
Yeah,
Can you hear
continue.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Carry on.
Yeah. So, be positive, as I told you, was to have a good system, a good lifestyle, eat, sleep well, exercise, and of course, see the positive aspect of every situation, the lesson that you have learned from it, and always think of what lesson that situation has come to teach you.
Right.
Accept people and situations. Don't try to change or control people and situations, because you can't do that. So learn the art and skill of acceptance to be positive.
Right.
Other than that, of course, be mindful and try to be in the present moment, and try to stop your brain from going into the past or going into the future, because that is what the brain normally does. The mind, it just shuttles from past to the future. And so we have to let go, and we have to be mindful and in the present moment. And of course, other than that, we have to, find solutions to our problems. We have to be solution oriented, not problem oriented. So just find out the solutions, talk to friends, and make good choices of whatever problems you have in life and solutions to them. And other than that, of course, you have to keep a gratitude journal and be grateful for at least 5 or 6 things early in the morning when you get up. Learn this technique of being grateful to whatever you have in life.
Wonderful.
That shifts your mind from negativity to the positivity side of it.
Also, could you also tell us a little bit? I have about 2 minutes left about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, how this can help.
Cognitive behavior therapy is a very scientific and a therapeutic method in which we teach people and clients how to focus on their thoughts, on their maladaptive thinking, and we teach them how to change their maladaptive thinking into rational, positive way of thinking, so that their behavior and their feelings become positive. So instead of changing the behavior of a person towards any problem, we focus on the thinking. We go a step ahead and above and focus on the thinking and teach him where his thinking is causing him problems. And we train them how to change the way they are thinking. So it's a wonderful way of thinking by, having a positive way of thinking.
Okay. Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta, it was a pleasure talking to you as always. Thank you very much for sharing this perspective that how we can remain positive even in negative circumstances. And once we keep on trying and carrying on these tips, of course, our mind will get rewired and we will start thinking positive. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time and being with us. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for calling me, and thank you so much for introducing me to Canada. Thank you, Harpreet ji.
You're being watched all over the world, Dr. Gupta, so thanks once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So ਇਸ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸੋਨਾ ਕੌਸ਼ਲ ਗੁਪਤਾ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈ ਤੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵ ਸਰਕਮਸਟੈਂਸਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਗ੍ਰੈਟੀਟਿਊਡ, ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਦਾ ਨਜ਼ਰੀਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਅਤੇ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਆਟੋਮੈਟਿਕਲੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਰੀਵਾਇਰ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਤੇ ਕੋਗਨੀਟਿਵ ਬਿਹੇਵੀਅਰਲ ਥੈਰੇਪੀ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਇੰਟੀਫਿਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੰਡੇ ਟੂ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੇ 7 ਵਜੇ ਪੈਸੀਫਿਕ ਸਟੈਂਡਰਡ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਿਕ। ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦਾ ਜੇਕਰ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ 6046037555 ਜਾਂ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਈਮੇਲ ਮੀ ਐਟ harpreetsingshow@gmail.com। ਇੱਥੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ। ਫਿਰ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਹੈਵ ਅ ਸੇਫ ਈਵਨਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਯੋਰਸੈਲਫ।